you. So what you see on our screen right now is the fleet metrics, or what we like to call the magic bar. And this is completely customizable, but it allows you to get ready for your fast submission at the end of the year and also monitor anything that is critical to your agency. So for our current customers, we have a list of items that they're particularly concerned about, such as odometer readings. For the fast report, we need to make sure that there are no negative miles, that there are consistent miles month over month. And they've also added in a custom script for 0 miles. And that allows you to keep track of your vehicle utilization. Say at the end of the year, you want to do in your CAM cycle, flag any vehicles that have not been driven for multiple months in a row, then we have that access to that information, and then you're able to draw a report from that and maybe right size your fleet by reducing those vehicles. So there are a lot of opportunity for customization here, or taking on the suggestions that we already have. And we pull this information in from GSA and a number of different sources. On the screen. Hold on one second. This thing doesn't want to move. Okay, so these are our data sources, and we are constantly pulling from others. And if you have unique data sources that you'd like to provide us access to, we can cross-reference with those as well. So we're able to pull from the DOE FAST system. We can pull from your HR if you'd like to automatically remove people on a monthly basis. We pull from the USPS address standardization and the NHTSA information. So we're able to give you a complete review and history of all of your information as a one-stop shop. It looks like we have a few more people coming in. Alrighty. So the people that have just joined us, if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat or raise your hand and we can get to those questions as well. We just got started, so you haven't missed much, but we were going over our fleet metrics, which is something that we find very valuable with our current customers in letting your team know exactly what needs to be done on a day-to-day basis. As soon as we bring that information in, you are able to see anything in red is something that your vehicle contacts or your agency fleet manager needs to do. And we find this to be much more helpful than going through the GSA site and maybe not understanding or not having the categories that you need. So another topic that we can discuss is the billing after disposal, or the AIEs. And for agency incurred expenses, this gives you the potential for cost recovery and cost prevention. With one of our customers, we are currently flagging $500,000 worth of erroneous charges, potential charges that they are able to recover from GSA. And with that, we provide our own unique category, separate and apart from the GSA category. And we do that so you are able to see, if for instance, if they say miscellaneous, we categorize that as fraud in a way that you are able to look for those different categories. And apart from your bill, this gives you a in-depth analysis of each of those charges so that you can go back to them and challenge them. There is also the potential for GSA to double bill, and that is very hard to find, with your own eyes without this analysis. We actually had a point with Department of Labor where we found A vehicle had been in the fleet for 19 months, even after we had turned that vehicle in. So we were still getting those monthly charges. And that was something that was unfound until we provided this analysis. And then you're able to go back to GSA, provide them with the documentation, and then receive that money back. So this is something that can allow your team to more critically look at the information that you're getting from GSA in order to, provide a cost savings. There's also the potential, sometimes GSA will charge for either tank overages or maybe the wrong fuel type. The person is getting premium fuel, but GSA says premium fuel is not the correct fuel type. In those instances, you're being charged every time that person is filling up. And we are able to provide you an analysis of those vehicles that are being charged and when they're being charged so that you have the information you need to go back to GSA to get all of those charges recovered. Because that, even if it's $30 or $50, that adds up over the life if GSA has that vehicle miscategorized as the fuel type. So along with this in the AIEs, these are also customizable if you'd like to, change the category or if there's something that you'd like to look out for. We also give you the breakdown by category here so that you're able to see the total amount that can potentially be recovered. And this is also so that the fleet managers, the agency contacts, and headquarters can come on the same page and really take a deep dive into that reporting. The other really cool thing about our system is called the vehicle research. And this allows us to see all the vehicles, even the ones that were disposed of past, and you can see all of their history. For some reason in GSA, once the vehicle is disposed of, it falls off of their radar and the reporting. But for us, we're able to still keep track of that vehicle and provide you analysis. Say that you are doing fast and you want to understand, what the fast submissions were year over year and what you submitted for that vehicle in the prior years. You can do that with our system. So it also keeps track of the vehicles that you looked for in the past so that you have a cookie crumb trail here to make it easier for you. You're able to search by either the VIN or the tag number, and then it's going to go ahead and find all of the information that we have on that vehicle. And so you have your quick links here that you're able to see, all the categories that that we have information for, such as, say that vehicle has a previous VIN in the system. That can be really tricky to track. We're able to provide you that. Or if you're looking for alternative fuel stations that are near that vehicle, we have that information in this for you too. Or GSA billing or the NHTSA VIN lookup information. So we're able to provide you with pretty comprehensive report that you could also export to Excel whenever you need to maybe share that with leadership. So I'll just scroll down here so you all can see the information that's being provided here, any of the odometer readings that have been recorded, the inventory when it's been. So those are the main key features that I have to discuss with you all today. There will be a few more if we have time, but does anybody have questions on the features that I provided to you so far?
Yes, actually, I do. Rick Cantu, Department Fleet Manager for Department of Treasury. So, got a question as far as like when new vehicles arrive to like if it's a newly added vehicle, to the fleet, and all of this is kind of coming in through GSA Fleet, right? That's kind of where that's the data repository, and then the service that you all provide. You're obviously lots, the dashboard metrics and whatnot, but the data that you all are analyzing resides in GSA Fleet, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So is there a way to tell, I guess, easily, like if I run a report or do something, it's like, hey, this is a new vehicle, this one dropped off, the inventory, or this one was added. Is that one of the like I guess like a ready-made metric or a report where I can see the new vehicles that have been added within a time frame?
Yes, so, we do have, this is Floyd Gladden, I'm the president of. Yeah, so we do have that capability, so, we have, features like it says, hey, these are new vehicles, hey, these are disposed vehicles, hey, there's a category for, active vehicles, there's a category for fast reportable this fiscal year. So even though it dropped off this year, like you might have had the vehicle for 3 months, you still have to report it. So we had all of that built in.
Okay. All right. Appreciate that.
And so, one of the things that we try to do, because, it's a lot easier to do vehicles that you've had in the past, because then, like 80% of the information is, pre-fillable, and you have that. What we try to do throughout the year is, analyze the information, especially for the new vehicles, so that we can be ready for that vehicle to be submitted into FAST at the end of the year. So those will show up on, most of the reports that we do. How many vehicles does Treasury have?
We have about 3,000.
Okay, yeah, so you're similar to probably the Department of Labor who we work with. So we work with Department of Labor, Transportation, and then we also do the post office. And so post office is unique in that they have, 99% owned vehicles. So, we work with GSA very well, but we can also work with an owned vehicle inventory if you have that.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Majority of ours are leased.
Yeah, how many owned vehicles do you have?
The Treasury fleet is about, I want to say 3,200, 3,100 roughly. And it kind of, like what you said, I'm actually acquainted with, with Ron from Department of Labor, and I know he's moved on to another position, but, I was first made aware of Net Digital, because I know that y'all had worked with them before, and you're correct in that, our fleet sizes are roughly the same. They're roughly around the same size as well. So, but no, I appreciate the demo and kind of answering that question.
Yeah, I felt like in these demos too, like we usually just take about 10 minutes to go over some of the highlights and things like that. Like we want a one-on-one time where we can do 15 to 30 minutes or so, just let us know, and we can dive into, the specific needs that you have, and, more of the features that we have.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
All right. Are there any other questions that I can answer? Kind of along the lines of what Rick was talking about is we have a custom reporting feature. So I know sometimes it's a little bit cumbersome in GSA to run certain reports. So we created our own screen. We're able to determine, right now we have pre-selected categories, but at any time you can, take away those categories, or you can add different categories, so that you can have that custom report that you need for your leadership or any time. So maybe you're looking for a report on any ZEV vehicles, we have that, or you're looking for something that maybe has a recall, or is from, you're looking for the acquisition costs and the fiscal year. So we do those types of reports, and any report that you want repeatable, you can have and you can save You can save the filters, create that name, and then you can run it at any time within your system. So the real purpose of our system is to give your agency the power to do the things that you need to do and really empower even your vehicle contacts with the information. Because sometimes, there can be too much put on the fleet managers, and this allows, everybody across the hierarchy to put in time and understand that data. And the other thing about it is that the roles are customizable. So if you don't want certain individuals or certain roles to see their a certain page, for instance, we have all of these categories up top, but if you don't want them to see that, then we can make those roles take away certain aspects of that for their page specifically. So this is a really useful page that we do as well, and we can put in there any of the fast diagnostics. We have already built in zero emission vehicles project, the OMBA 11. That's something that we help with our customers as well, and the ZEV strategic plan. And really, we're very proud of the work that we do within the system. It helps us get ready for the fast submission, and we have very high quality, 99%, and our CPV score is for DOT the #1 for 2022. So, and then we're waiting for the results back from this year, but we are continually increasing that score and getting better and better at that fast report. So, and the crux of it is with our platform here that allows us to clean up data, not just at the end of the year, but throughout the year. So getting all of that information up front, and also performing certain data calls. There was an instance where a lot of our vehicle contacts had put in PO boxes or incorrect addresses that did not belong to the Department of Labor. And with that, they had said, let's go back in, do a data call, and make sure that all the addresses align with departmental buildings. And we were able to do that in a matter of days instead of months and months because of this platform that allows us to reach out to them very quickly, and they're able to see their progress very quickly. Similarly with the VAM, we have a VAM module in here, which allows them to conduct that. They did their VAM on over 3,000 vehicles in just 2 months, even though it was a very heavy lift. And in the past with the Excel, there had been many vehicles forgotten. We were able to do all of that and show very key metrics, such as how many vehicles can be converted into ZEV or what were the ZEV barriers. So we're able to provide that to leadership as well with concrete evidence of, okay, maybe MSHA is not able to turn their vehicle into ZEVs just yet because they don't have the infrastructure. We have that data now to push back or to get them the information and the infrastructure they need so that they can begin converting. So it's been a game changer. And also we're able to do it on a more frequent basis. So any new vehicle that comes in, we will be completing the VAM on that as well, so that we have all the information we need on it. So it's about 1:20 now. Do we have any questions about how AUTOS, our fleet management system, can assist you with your goals? Or is there any questions about customization with your unique agency?
Hey, this is Abu here. I just joined about 8 minutes
Hello.
ago. How are you doing?
Yes.
The
Good.
quick question I want to ask is, I know you've been talking about the VAM, how you guys can
Mhm.
help with the VAM. So basically, when you guys do the VAM study with your system, the information going to base primarily on the mileage and gas usage. Is that correct?
So our VAM is based on, if you can see my screen, any of these questions, but these questions are going to be customizable. So we do take in consideration the odometer and the miles that they've traveled, but we also take into consideration what the vehicle contact or the agency fleet manager answers for these questions. So maybe there's many employees that are using this vehicle, or there's a function for this vehicle that we hadn't considered, such as emergency response. I think when we did the VAM, we actually found out some of the vehicles were being used as, what was it? Emergency response. And we didn't realize how many vehicles were being used for that. So those we took that information and we realized that they couldn't be turned into electric vehicles just yet. So there was actually a lot of information that we gathered, at a high level. You don't know some of the instances when you have all of these, spread out locations, but we were able to determine a lot of granular information based on this VAM.
Basically, it's to the question. Yeah, I see you display there. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we do take that information into account. Maybe the vehicle hasn't been driven in 3 months, based on, other metrics, and then those vehicles can be turned in, or, maybe changed over to a different vehicle, something like that. But it also allows us to know, is this the right vehicle for the mission? Some people I think Ron was also using this in place of the FNE. He took over or added some of the questions from the FNE so that we wouldn't have to duplicate that work in other places. So that allows you to answer some of those questions as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I think it allows, if 20 questions is too many for your vehicle, your fleet size, we can always par those down. These were just the important questions that they came up with. But, for DOT and, USPS, they have different concerns. So we can ask different questions, and that's pretty easy to customize. But you're actually able to see, during the VAM process, we had a element here on the fleet metrics bar, and that let you know exactly what your status was for your whole agency. So you could know, okay, you had, 2 more VAMs to complete. And that really gives people the motivation and the information they need to complete it.
I have a quick question on this topic real quick. So if we decided to, I know you have 20 something questions here. Our last survey, we only have 5 questions. We will have to submit those questions to you guys, and you guys will have to make the changes, or can we make the changes ourselves in the system?
Yeah, so right now you would provide us with the questions, but I believe Lloyd is working on something where, it's there already?
Yeah, we would just need to give you some training, and then you could go through and, add the questions. There's a module in there that lets you write the question, say whether or not it's a drop down, provide, the system with it's a drop down issue things. If it's a date, you can specify a date, and then a calendar will show up. So it's kind of like a survey module that you can create, edit, update, change. You can hide questions, because I think our VAM initially started out with like 100 questions. So you can pick from those 100 questions, and just add or subtract, those from your questionnaire, or you can customize any, new questions that you might have. So you can specify like money, or, an integer, or, dollar amounts, or, anything that you need. So it's 100% customizable. Usually people have us do it, just because it's quicker, but we can definitely train you on how to do it. And then you can make those changes at any time.
And that's part of our product plan as well, Bruno. I think we may have sent over your different options that we have, but for the people that have not met with us before, we have different options for you. We can train you on the system and have kind of turn that over to you so you can manage it in full, or we, as we do for our other clients, we basically manage the system and I provide training, and then so they get that full service option. So there's a number of ways that you can go about it. I know some people need it to be on their own framework, so we can give you the system as a whole and you can put it on your servers, or they can stay on our servers. So it's just a matter of, you know, what are your requirements and what is your comfortability with different changes like that, different development. But it wouldn't be, you know, code changes that you would do. We'd have that ability for you to make the changes within the server.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This again, another quick question I want to ask, because I know when we met to run, mentioned it already. I just want to make sure from you guys, because since I was not at the beginning of the presentation, the question I want to ask is, you guys' platform, basically you don't collect data. We have to feed the data into the system and then data generates reports. Is that correct?
So you yourself don't need to provide us with any data unless it's for an agency-owned vehicle. But for anything that's GSA leased, we can get that information over as long as you provide us with the login information, and then we can get that those reports sent to us. And GSA is actually, we are in talks with GSA right now to get the API so that we don't have to do it with reports anymore. We'll be connected with them. But for GSA leased vehicles, we upload all of that information and then we kind of audit their information so that you're able to, you know, make more sense of it and then be able to do more with that information.
The reason why I'm asking that question there, because there's sometimes something that we experience, particularly with GSA and some of the bureaus and agency, there's discrepancies between their reports and ours, particularly because many fleet managers are not primarily fleet managers, have other things to do. So they have time to go in on a monthly basis. They have a starting deadline where you have to put in whether it's mileage, whether it's your fuel usage or whatever. They don't do it. So GSA system estimates. So when it comes at the end of the year, when you're doing your fast report, you can notice that some of the data, there's discrepancy. Whatever GSA is saying and what we have on record is two different things. So that's why we have to go back and do correction. So that's the reason I was asking that. So with that information there, how do we reconcile those two so we can make sure we get it to where we want it to be? That's why I was asking. You guys just use GSA data straight and that's what you use, or there's a way for us to clean the GSA data to reflect what we actually have? That's something the system is capable of doing?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we have, so we always keep a copy of what GSA says. So, you know, we have it for historical records, but for all of our screens, we have the ability, and we just call it like the revised number. So we have a major screen called the odometer cleanup screen. It shows your vehicle and shows every month, shows the odometer readings, and then our system will flag it. So if the miles come out to be negative or less than the prior month, or if it goes over, like, you know, for DOL, I think we had it set for 1,500 miles a month, and it flags it, and they can say, yeah, we did drop it over 1,500. We can customize those, and then you guys can clean up your odometers, because it is a major issue. So, you know, people can't drive negative miles and things like that. We do the same thing with agency incurred expenses, with your fuel, you know, with everything, you know, that you have. So we just get the information, we display it to you in a way that we consider to be more user friendly, you know, than the other systems. So.
You know, I'm trying to show the odometer reading, but we're having a little storm outside, so our internet is a little bit slower, but I can bring it here. So for the odometer reading, you know, what GSA, sometimes the vehicle contacts, they'll put in either a wrong entry or maybe, you know, fat finger the entry. And then, so what we do here is we collect that information and then we flag any information that might be incorrect. And then you can also give us any custom flags that you'd like. for the Department of Labor, they actually flag if a vehicle has been driven 0 miles in 3 months or more. So anything like that that you can think of, we can put those metrics in. And then what the vehicle contact does is they certify that they've reviewed this in our system. And then we use this data to submit to FAST because they, with GSA, there's some issues or they've put in negative miles or things like that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And so that's kind of how we look at our system too, as an auditing or the overall health of your fleet program, which is something that GSA can't necessarily provide right now. They do a host of other things, but if you want to get granular with your data and look at, everything at a glance and also have the type of analysis, maybe you've driven this many miles over the course of, the fiscal year, you would be able to know that. And then this allows you to be ready for the end of the year. And so each month we get the data, the users know to go in here, and then they'll double check that. Are there any other questions about anything that we covered today? We talked about a lot, such as the fleet metrics up here. We talked about FAST a little bit, cost prevention and recovery with the AIEs. We've also talked about the VAM and the vehicle research. So if anybody would like more information on that, I'd be happy to stay on. I know that it's 1:32, so if you need to hop off, definitely go ahead and do that. But we'd love to provide you, if you want to send over, some more specific information about your agency's needs, we'd love to have a custom demo prepared for you to go over those unique challenges that you're facing. Okay, so with that, please feel free to reach out to us either through email or via phone, and then we'd be happy to help you and set up a more in-depth demo, like I said, or with any questions that you may have. Oh, okay, I don't see a hand. Absolutely. Yes, we'd be happy to do a one-on-one demo. So I'll reach out to you right after this meeting and we can talk about maybe your pain points and we'll be able to answer those on the demo. Oh, it does. Okay, so if you don't have the, if we don't have your information, can you please send that over to me in the chat, just your email, and then I can reach out to you? Yeah, for some reason it's saying unverified or guest with a lot of them. So we may not have it. Okay. Okay, perfect. And then maybe for some of you, we have talked to you before, but you might need our pricing chart or want to inquire about any of our other services. So you can definitely reach out with that as well. Alrighty, well, thank you so much, everyone. We appreciate you hopping on and talking with us, and we hope to see you at our next demo.
All right, thank you, guys.
Just staying on to see if anybody else asks a question.